Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Afternoon Praise. This is Fearless Faith Friday. Yes, it is Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. And congratulations to you, and you. Congratulations to everybody who stood firm and kept pushing even when it got hard for them. Because guess what? The Bible said weapons formed against us will not prosper. It said weapons formed against us. So things will come against us and we might be our own weapon. But I just want to celebrate you because you stayed strong. You stayed 10 toes down, even if you only got one toe, but you kept your foot down on the ground. You kept the gas pressed and you said, I'm going to finish hard. I'm going to finish strong. So I celebrate you. And I just want to welcome you to the Afternoon Praise. And you know who I am. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, aka the Business Point Guard. This week, we have been discussing a powerful theme. What is that theme? So if you just joined us on this Friday, the theme is what you do next matters. See, on Monday, we learned what wisdom is execution power. On Tuesday, we learned that your delay has a price tag. On Wednesday, we learned that what you build is speaking for you. And yesterday on Thrive Thursday, we learned that sometimes we become the bottleneck. And today, we're bringing it all home. Today's title is intentionally proactive. Ready is not coming. Yes, people, ready is not coming. Now, hold on now before somebody misunderstand me. Let me be clear on what I'm saying. I'm not against preparation. I believe in preparation. Preparation is stewardship. Preparation is wisdom. Preparation is responsibility. The problem is not preparation. The problem is waiting for a feeling of complete certainty before taking action. And many people are not waiting on preparation. They are waiting on confidence. They are waiting on fear to disappear. They are waiting on perfect timing. They are waiting on complete visibility. The day never comes. Let me say that again. That day never comes. Faith has never been the absence of uncertainty. Faith has always been movement despite uncertainty. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Tell a family member, tell a friend to tune in because this Fearless Faith Friday is going to be off the chain. Hey, keep it locked, all right?
Join us on this heavenly journey, one song at a time, Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and I just want to say thank you for joining me. And I want you to know this is Fearless Faith Friday. I need you to be fearless, people. I need you to operate in your mustard seed of faith, not just on Friday, but every day. And I want to let you know, ready is not coming. And that's the title of our show. And I need you to keep it locked to understand what I'm talking about. Let's talk about preparation is not the problem. See, one of the greatest mistakes people make is confusing preparation with postponement. See, preparation is healthy. It's wise. Preparation creates capacity. It develops skills. Preparation reduces unnecessary risk. Preparation honors the assignment. But now, preparation has an ending point, people. And at some point, the student must take the test. And at some point, the entrepreneur must launch. And at some point, the leader must lead and the builder must build. See, preparation becomes dangerous when it transforms into a permanent address. See, some people have been preparing for years, not because they need more preparation, because preparation has become a safe place to hide from action. See, wisdom prepares, fear postpones. And knowing the difference changes everything. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
You're riding the waves of faith and grace on Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about the illusion of future readiness. See, one of the greatest psychological traps is believing that your future self will somehow become fearless. We tell ourselves, I'll do it next year. I'll start when things settle down. I'll move when I have more confidence. I'll act when I know more. Yet, next year arrives with the same challenges, new uncertainties, new responsibilities. The future is not a magical place where uncertainty disappears, people. The future is simply another version of today. See, many people are waiting on a future version of themselves that does not exist. The reality is this: the courage you need tomorrow is built by the action you take today. Can I say that again? The courage you need tomorrow is built by the action you take today. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise on this Fearless Faith Friday, and we are talking about ready is not coming. It's not coming, people. Let's look at Abraham. Abraham had no blueprint, right? No blueprint at all. What are you talking about, sir? I'm glad you asked. Let's go to Hebrews 11:8. Give us one of the greatest leadership lessons in Scripture. Abraham was called, Abraham obeyed, Abraham moved. What is fascinating is what Abraham did not have. He did not have a blueprint. He did not have complete information. He did not have certainty. He did not have the detailed roadmap. Yet he moved. Now go back and read Hebrews 11:8. Now just imagine if Abraham had said, God, I go after you explain everything. The journey never begins. Faith did not remove uncertainty. Faith created movement. And many of us are waiting on information that God never promised to provide before the first step. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
If you're just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. And you know, the last break, we talked about Abraham in Hebrews 11:8. And I told you to go read it. But you know what? I don't want to take for granted that you know Scripture, that you understand the word. So I'm gonna go back and read that for you. See, Hebrews 11:8 says, by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whether he went. See, that's what I was talking about on our last break, Hebrews 11:8. Abraham was called, Abraham obeyed, Abraham moved. But he didn't have the blueprint. But God said it, and he had faith and believed in God, and he moved. And now this when it comes to what I want to talk about next. Confidence does not come first, people. See, this may challenge a lot of people. And most people believe confidence creates actions. Now, research suggests the opposite. See, actions creates confidence. The entrepreneur gains confidence by launching. The speaker gains confidence by speaking. The leader gains confidence by leading. And all my athletes out there, you gain confidence by competing. See, confidence grows inside the feedback loop of experience. And many people are waiting to feel confident before they move. And the truth is, confidence often arises because they moved. You do not think your way into confidence. You work your way into confidence. You got to move, because if you don't move, you don't know how to do. You don't know if you can do. Confidence comes from moving. I didn't just crack the mic open and say, man, I got this. Or I write a show, I got this. No, I practice my shows. I practice before I get on air. And by me staying consistent to my shows, it builds up confidence, because I know I'm going to research and give you knowledge and give you understanding and give you the word of God and give you something that's going to take you to the next level of your life. I have that confidence because I put the work in. I move daily. I operate in this daily. So people, confidence. You cannot think your way to confidence. You got to work your way into confidence. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. This is Fearless Faith Friday, and we are talking about ready is not coming. See, Peter had to leave the boat. Peter could not walk on water while staying in the boat. The miracle was attached to movement. Y'all don't like that. Y'all ain't gonna like that. See, the miracle wasn't attached to observation. The miracle wasn't attached to the discussion or the analysis. The miracle was attached to movement. The boat represented safety. The boat represented certainty. The boat represented familiarity. The water represented faith. The water represented uncertainty. The water represented growth. See, many people are praying for miracles while refusing to leave the boat. The miracle is often connected to the step, not the intention. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. If you just tuned in, this is Fearless Faith Friday, and we are talking about ready is not coming. Ready is not coming. And I'm talking about the feeling of being ready. You got to get out of that. You got to move, people. And let's talk about this. Planning is not progress. Now, there's nothing wrong with planning, but planning is not progress. See, this is where many intelligent people get trapped. Planning feel productive. Research feel productive. Thinking feel productive. The discussion with other people feels productive. And all of those things have value. So don't get me wrong. I'm not discrediting those things. But none of them are progress. Progress requires movement. Progress requires execution. Progress requires implementation. You cannot think your way into a new future, people. You eventually have to build it. The danger is confusing mental activity with actual advancement. See, the scoreboard only changes when actions occur. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Bringing the sounds of heaven 24/7, Wayvve Radio.
Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. And you know, one of the shows was your delay have a price tag? It does. See, the cost of waiting. There's a cost to waiting. The same thing, delay. That was the show on Tuesday. See, most people calculate the cost of action. Few people calculate the cost of waiting. See, the opportunities are being missed. And ask yourself, what opportunities are being missed? What lessons are being delayed? What relationships are not being developed? Ask yourself, what growth is not occurring? See, waiting feels safe because the consequences are invisible. But invisible does not mean free. Every delay has a cost. Every hesitation has a cost. Every opportunity has an expiration date. It's like the harvest, people. If the farmer don't plant in a certain season, that seed is not going to develop in the right atmosphere. And let's say he do plant in the right season, but if he don't go harvest the fruit, the vegetable, whatever, in the right season, that stuff will go spoil. So listen to what I'm saying. Every opportunity has an expiration date. Every season has an expiration date. And the question is not whether waiting costs something. The question is whether you're willing to keep paying the price. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. And if you miss any part of this show, that's okay. You can go to my YouTube channel and look up the Business Point Guard and listen to the show entirety minus the music. And if it's the current day show, it will post at 6:15. But any other show, you can go listen any time you want to on any platform that you listen to your podcast on. And today's show, we're talking about Ready is Not Coming. And if you've been listening, I hope that you have gotten an understanding of what I'm talking about when I say ready is not coming. And if you missed any part of this, please go back and listen to the show, because I can't go all the way back to explain, but you can go back and listen to it. But let's talk about this. Faith is a response. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is a response, people. Faith responds to what God has revealed. Faith responds to wisdom. Faith responds to opportunity. Faith responds to purpose. Faith responds to conviction. See, many people reduce faith to agreement. Biblical faith was never agreement alone. Biblical faith always produced movement. Faith without works is dead. Noah built, Abraham left, Nehemiah rebuilt, Peter stepped. Faith moved. And if faith never moves, it eventually becomes a conversation instead of a conviction. And again, faith without works is dead. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Plays. I know I chopped the word up. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about clarity follows movement. See, one of the greatest myths is that clarity comes before action. Often clarity follows action. Nehemiah did not understand everything before arriving. He learned while inspecting the wall. Entrepreneurs learn while operating businesses. Parents learn while raising children. Leaders learn while leading. Movement creates feedback, people. Feedback creates learning. Learning creates clarity. And many people are waiting for clarity before they move. Often the clarity they are seeking is waiting on the other side of the first step. I'm going to say that again. The clarity you are seeking is waiting on the other side of the first step. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and this is Fearless Faith Friday. Yes, you made it to the end of the week. Yes, we are here. But some of y'all, it's just midday for y'all. Some of y'all, it's just morning. And some of y'all, you all are at the end of the day and you made it through. So again, I celebrate you. But let's talk about fear. Fear sounds like wisdom. See, fear rarely introduces itself honestly. See, fear often disguises itself as wisdom. Fear asks, what if it fails? What if it doesn't work? What if I embarrass myself? What if I make a mistake? Wisdom asks different questions, people. Wisdom asks, what can I learn? What can I improve? What is the next responsible step? See, fear wants certainty. Wisdom wants preparation. There's a difference, people. Many people called fear wisdom for so long, they no longer recognize the distinction. They think fear is wisdom. No, fear is not. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in and you're listening to the Afternoon Praise, let's talk about the 70% rule. See, many high-performing leaders operate by a simple principle. And you can take this same principle too. You don't have to be a high-performing leader. You can be a church leader. You lead your family or whatever. See, if they have enough information to make a responsible decision, they move. Not recklessly, not carelessly, but responsibly. Waiting for 100% certainty is often waiting forever. See, the final pieces of information usually arrive through execution. Life is not a classroom. Life is a laboratory. Movement produces data. Action produces insight. Execution produces understanding. See, you learn more by doing than by endlessly debating whether you should do it. How should I do this? How should I do that? I should do it this way. I should do that. You ain't learning nothing. You just sitting there, feeling it in your thumbs, feeling it in your fingers. You're procrastinating. So I'm going to say this again. You learn more by doing than by endlessly debating whether you should do it or have enough information to do it. Include this 70% rule in your life. You don't need 100% of the information because you will never get 100% of the information. You will always be sitting waiting. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and this is Fearless Faith Friday, and we're talking about Ready is Not Coming. See, the future rewards builders. The future rarely rewards spectators. The future rewards builders. Builders take what they know and put it to work. Builders move before every answer appears. Builders understand that uncertainty is part of the process. And every great company, every great person, every great leader, every great parent, every great teacher, whatever you are, start before all the answers exist. Every great ministries start before all the answers exist. Every great movements started before all the answers exist. The future belongs to those willing to build despite uncertainty. What's going on, my good builders out there who are listening to me right now? And if you're not in the role, if you haven't took the posture of building, do it right now, in this moment, right now. Stop saying, okay, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it. Don't worry about that. Just say, I am going to step in the builder's role right now, and I'm going to start. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you got a shout out or request, hit me up and I got you. I want to make sure this Friday that you are jamming, you're learning and you're jamming at the same time with music that's inspired by the love of God here on Wayvve Radio. And again, if you're listening to the playback, you can't jam because there ain't no music to this right here, but you are still learning. Let's talk about the waiting habit. See, waiting can become a habit. Some people have become expert at delay, an expert at waiting. They delay decisions, opportunities, conversation. They delay growth. See, the longer waiting continues, the more comfortable it becomes. And eventually, waiting feels normal. See, the problem is that waiting rarely creates momentum. Action creates momentum. Movement creates momentum. Execution creates momentum. The life you want is rarely found in the waiting room. It's found in your momentum. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
Thank you for joining me on this Friday, this beautiful Friday. And I want to send congratulations out to all the high school people that are graduating out there. Congratulations out there. My goddaughter is graduating in Greensboro, North Carolina. So I just want to say congratulations to you in Greensboro, North Carolina. Congratulations to your mother, Nikki, and all the village who helped you get through this moment. But let's talk about courage is not the absence of fear. See, many people must understood courage. Courage is not fearlessness. Courage is movement despite fear. Abraham felt uncertainty. Nehemiah faced opposition. Peter faced fear. Joshua faced pressure. Yet they moved. The mission became more important than the uncertainty. That is courage, people. Not the absence of fear. You have to make a decision that purpose matter more than fear. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let me tell you something. Someone is waiting on your move. And I said this before. You are someone's fruit. Your movement, your outcome is someone's fruit. And I'm talking about the outcome that God has purposed you for. See, this is where the conversation becomes personal. Who is waiting on your decision? Who is waiting on your leadership? Who is waiting on your obedience? Who is waiting on your courage? See, many times we think our decision only affect us. They don't. See, families are waiting. Teams are waiting. Communities are waiting. The people connected to your purpose are often waiting on your next step. See, your movement creates permission for others to move. And I thank God that God is our God, because he ain't waiting on us, but we need to move. It's going to happen with or without us. But guess what? Some people are connected to your movement. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
Hey, if you just tuned in to the Afternoon Praise, guess what? My time is up. It's been great. It's been lovely. And I thank you for joining me, not just today on Fearless Faith Friday, but this whole week. Man, this week has been powerful. I hope you learned just like I learned. And I thank you for the comments. I thank you for sharing your responses, because they are helping me too. But before I leave you, I just want to talk about this. See, I want to leave you with one final thought. Ready is not coming. Not because preparation is unnecessary. Not because wisdom is unimportant. Not because planning doesn't matter. Ready is not coming because complete certainty does not exist. There will always be another question, another concern, another obstacle, another unknown. And at some point, you must decide. And at some point, you must move. At some point, you must trust God enough to take the next step. See, preparation creates readiness. Waiting for certainty creates delay. Getting ready is an action. Waiting to feel ready is a reaction. And remember this, faith without works is dead. Faith was always moved. Faith has always moved. Faith has always built. Faith has always stepped. Faith has always trusted. So as you head into this weekend, ask yourself, what have I been calling preparation that is actually postponement? And what is the next step God has already given me permission to take? Hey, I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, aka the Business Point God. I want you to have an amazing Fearless Faith Friday and an amazing weekend. But remember, ready is not coming, but your next step is. Hey, thank you for joining me, and I will catch you Monday. Yes, on what? Motivation Monday. Hey, I'm out of here. Peace.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.